People of Jamaica, did you know that Senator Aubyn was banned by almost every Arab country in the world? Aubyn cannot go anywhere near any banks in most Arab countries. This man, Senator Aubyn, is the same minister that imported ice to Jamaica. He is really a modern-day pirate.
So, Mr. President, I just listened again to the speaker from the other side who spoke just before me. And what I'm going to say, it would sound as if while she was writing, I wrote this part of the speech. But clearly I didn't. I have reflected on the behavior. No. You know better than that. I have reflected on the behavior of the members of the opposition as they sought, apparently, Mr. President, not to get help quickly to those Jamaicans who need restoration of property. I have been, everything I've listened, you want to do this. You have time to respond. And livelihoods after Hurricane Melissa, nor to help our beloved country, Jamaica, use NARA to quickly and accountably build a more resilient future for our country. But rather, Mr. President, I watch them try to do everything to distort, delay, and even destroy the NARA legislation if they could have done so. JLP, I remember, Mr. President, when we were doing the IMF program. I was then the chairman of, now Prime Minister, long time ago, leader of the opposition. Long time. And I remember every time Dr. Bert Stern and subsequently Dr. Umar Ramakrishna from the IMF came, they sat us over that office over near the, you know where it is, where the leader of the, I've forgotten, of the opposition is. Every time, I don't even remember. Every time they came, Mr. President, they asked us almost the first question, pointedly, will you keep the terms and conditions of the agreement that is being, and ad nauseum, and with great patience, because the Prime Minister is one of the most patient men I've ever met. Patient. Tell them over and over, yes. But, Mr. President, we did not only keep it. When we came to power, we busted it up and excelled it. But this is what happened. We made sure, and I remember, and I'm telling you this, Andrew Holness, through that time said, this is a national project. This has to be done. We will not oppose it. We never oppose one of those bills. So, Mr. President, we know what it means to join in unity, to build a country. The PNP have lost, it seems, they have lost their course. They have lost 3 consecutive general elections, Mr. President, and they seem to be desperate. After the most honorable Andrew Holness led us to victory in 2016, they fought us tooth and nail over crime. The leader of the opposition, the former leader of opposition business, I almost misspoke about leader of the opposition. Time over time, Peter Bunting, stay over there. Where is the crime plan? The Minister of National Security, Prime Minister would ad nauseum tell them, we are spending the money on people, on equipment, and systems. And we got there, and Mr. President, for the last 3 consecutive years, we dropped crime by 9%, 19%, and last year 43%. There is no more mocking about where's the crime plan. Because and you should learn, when you talked about NARA, you should be careful. You should remember how we have handled crime, how we have handled COVID-19, how we have handled burial, and all the time never borrow any money. We know how to manage things and leadership. So, NARA, Mr. President, when you are, we've never done a NARA before, so we are going through this, and we have to get speed. So we look at all that they're trying to do, and this has come to my mind, Mr. President. Despite losing 3 consecutive general elections to the young but mature and strategic thinker of a leader called Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness and the Jamaica Labour Party, the PNP, their leader of the opposition, mind you, and their members of parliament, their members of parliament, Mr. President, behave as if they possess the God-given right to run this country and decide on what legislation the 3-time elected by the people Jamaica Labour Party government. Okay? So, Mr. President, the people, we hear the discussion, but the way they talk about it, oh, he has too much power, no oversight, no, that's not true. Read the bill. I just read it for you. Mr. President, evil and wicked Queen Jezebel, the hapless, you see where you're sitting? So, who worship weak loser, King Ahab. King Ahab was her husband, who worshipped the pagan god called Baal. Clearly, Mr. President, weak King Ahab of the PNP and his hapless MPs and followers have lost their way. Just listen to what we heard from the speaker just before me. Lost their way, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, I have observed that when PNP politicians cannot achieve power at the ballot box, they engage in what is called lawfare. Not all of them. There are others who are good PNP people. But some of them engage in lawfare. In some other jurisdictions, that's what they call it. And they try to use tyrannical excesses of process to bog down legislation and try to derail the legislative objectives of the government, and in the process hinder needed benefits getting to the Jamaican people. So, Mr. President, I put to you that we have enough oversight regulators and regulations in place. They include but are not limited to the Cabinet, the Parliament, the various oversight committees of Parliament, and the independent auditor, the Integrity Commission, and on the long accountability and compliance bodies. Indeed, Mr. President, many other speakers in that other place before Senator Dana Morris Dixon in this Senate last week, and others in the Senate after her, laid out the phalanx of oversight regulators which exist to judge the work and professional performance of the newly proposed NARA. So, they try to use legislative complexity when that's not used. They shifted the nuance to the Joint Select Committee. And the Joint Select Committee, Mr. President, I know the immense value of the JSC. And this is the last thing I'm going to tell you about that thing. I passed 2 bills from the ministry using the Joint Select Committee. There were security interests in personal property, SIPA, and the Insolvency Act last year. But, Mr. President,